Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another Q&A. This is Erick Landon's goddamn Hangout. Of course, it had to be called that way for no reason, for absolutely no reason. But purpose is the same, right? To hang out. To answer your damn questions. No, really, just to hang out. So how are you guys? I'm doing okay. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a great January. Me, I'm glad it's over. I can finally get back to making like the really good videos. Not that I didn't do any good videos on January, I did a bunch of them, but yeah, it's a good month. It's not a good month. But I'm glad it's over. Whatever the case, it's over, and I'm glad, and I hope you had a blast this month. Especially people living in the north. With all that cold weather and the snow and the minus 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees, which is absolutely insane. Well, goddamn hello to you too. Thank you for joining, everybody. Sound alright? Huh? I should put a message here. A giant message here on the screen saying, I did not play Persona 3 Reload. But I am playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And I'm not gonna talk much about it, because if I talk about it, most of you won't give a fuck about the review anymore. I know some of you will, but some of you won't. And I want everybody to care, right? That's the point of the reviews. And I didn't play Yakuza. Damn, I'm doing this, man. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, my friend and patron, Retroidvaniac, for this gift. It's finally here. It's finally mine. The only physical release of the Chrono Cross remaster. Too bad this didn't come out on PS4 or PS5, preferably. That would have been amazing, to own the best version in terms of graphics and technicalities and whatnot. But I guess the Switch version is fine. And I haven't played it. Obviously, I own the PS4 version digitally. And that's the one that I'm going to stick with. And yeah. So this is a gift. And Retroidvaniac, if you're watching this right now or later, or whenever, thanks a bunch, buddy. And this is from PlayAsia, by the way. This is the version with English subs, and it's in English in the back, as you can clearly see right there. But it's not rated by any of those companies like the PEGI or the ESRB or whatever. So it is an official release, but it's not like Square Enix didn't publish it physically worldwide or anywhere. This is the PlayAsia version. How long has that website been around? That's been like... I don't think it's that old. I don't think PlayAsia existed 10 years ago. I could be mistaken though, but I don't remember anyone talking about it 10 years ago in 2014. I think it's a website that started back in 2017 maybe? Those... Any of you guys know? Anyway. So I'm just gonna put it here. No. Here. Well, I guess it's fine. Yeah. Now you can't see this guy too. Whatever. No one cares about this guy too. Nis America doesn't care about this guy too. They only care about every other Disgaea except 2 and 3. Come on, Nipponichi Software. You've remastered Disgaea 1 and 4. Why not 2? It's one of the best. It's my favorite. Well, my second favorite. Anyway, so... If I start seeing a lot of questions about Persona 3, I'm gonna put the message in there. The text. I did not play Persona 3 Reload. Oh, man. There's a promo in PlayAsia, speaking about PlayAsia, where you get 3 games for $100, only imports. So I guess it's gonna be $100 plus shipping plus taxes, so it's gonna be, for me, $150. probably 140. And wow, they will have to be like one heck of a deal for me to pay $140 for fucking 3 games, man. Well, thanks for letting me know. I heard Atlus is making a remaster of Riviera: The Promised Land for GBA. Do you know if that's true? I don't know if that's true. That's so random, man. Why, out of all the JRPGs Atlus has published in the West, why will they pick that? That seems like a completely random pick. Why not remaster their own games? All those old Shin Megami Tensei games, the Persona games 1, 2, and 3, especially, I mean, the second one. I didn't mean 3, I mean like 2 and 2. Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin. Why not those? Why not all of those legendary Atlus games? No, instead, they just pull out of their asses one title like, which title should I remaster? The Persona games? Nah, nobody cares about those. The Shin Megami Tensei games? Nah, nobody cares about those. How about Riviera: The Promised Land? Yeah, good idea, let's remaster that. Yeah, I don't think it's true, but if it is, that's so freaking random. Or it could be that maybe Atlus sold the rights to another company, or I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just why? Why that game? I mean, it's a good game, yeah, for sure, but out of all the others, see what I mean? Okay, so there's Yggdra Union. Remember Yggdra Union? So Yggdra Union was developed by Department Heaven. Okay, it was published by Atlus on the Game Boy Advance and on the PSP. And then it was remastered for PC and on Switch. And that version, that remaster, was not published by Atlus. So, yeah. Riviera: The Promised Land, that's also developed by Department Heaven. So I'm guessing that Atlus is not doing the remaster. It's probably the same company who remastered the Yggdra Union. I doubt Atlus is remastering themselves Riviera: The Promised Land. I don't think so. Do I believe you that the Riviera remaster is coming? Yes, I do. Apparently, yeah, it's been confirmed. Okay, so it's happening, but I don't think Atlus is going to publish that. I doubt it. And if they are, going back to what I said at the beginning, like why the fuck would they choose that title over all the other Atlus classics, you know? Makes no sense. Why not Persona 2? Why not the first SMT games? I mean, it just makes no sense. I doubt Atlus is doing it. But yeah, speaking about the remaster, it's great news. Glad it's happening. I think it's one of the many old titles that are a bit forgotten. Hidden gem, definitely. And I'm happy, you know. I'm happy because I'd love to go back to that game one of these days. And for some reason, I don't feel like going back to the PSP or the original GBA version. I kind of would like to play the remastered version. I'll probably do the same with the Yggdra Union one of these days. Thank you, Ashoka Tano. Do you read manga? Not really, dude. I tried, and I grew up with comic books, but you know, eventually I gave up, and I think I started preferring books, anime series, anything over a manga. So I respect manga, and they're cool and whatever, but I don't read manga, really. Sometimes remasters are picked out by idiots. I don't know about that, you know, but it just seems kind of random. But for Atlus, like I said, but I don't think Atlus is doing the remaster. I seriously doubt it. In all honesty, do you think is there a way to save the game industry right now this year, or will it take longer? Would you mind explaining to me what do you think the gaming industry needs saving from? Like, what do you think is the problem? There's many problems, right? But why are you asking that? Riviera for the PSP is the better version? I think so, yeah. I don't remember playing the GBA version. Or maybe I did a long time ago, just to try it out. But the one that I put some real hours into was the PSP version. How many games are in your PS5 collection? Oh man, I only have 3 physical games. Digital, I may have like 5, maybe 10, maybe. That's a stretch. But the physical, only 3 games. And that's it. I got Fallen Legion Deluxe Edition that comes with both games. I got Soul Hackers 2 and I got Final Fantasy 16, and that's it. I'm trying to get more PS5 games. Now that I own a PS5, I want to own the PS5 versions of some games that I don't already have on PS4. So this year I'm gonna dedicate to building my PS5 collection, and maybe add some more to my PS4 collection. Only in Japan, Riviera, the remaster, February 29, release date. That's cool. I'm happy for it. I just think it's not, Atlas is not doing it. Have you tried to get color intro in Suikoden 2? I have no idea. Sting Entertainment themselves announced it. Yeah, I think it was Sting Entertainment themselves. So what I was saying is that they were developed by Department Heaven. What an idiot. Previously I was saying that the games were developed by Department Heaven. What a fucking idiot. No, the developer is Sting Entertainment. Department Heaven is the series, the name of the series. Oh my god. Where's my head? God damn it. So yeah, they Sting Entertainment remastered Yggdra Union themselves. So they're probably gonna remaster all of their games. Gongnir, maybe one day. Hexis Force. Come on, Hexis Force, damn it. That's the holy grail of Department Heaven series. The most... Well, no. Wait a second. It is developed by Sting Entertainment, but it doesn't belong to the Department Heaven series. But it's an expensive motherfucker on the PSP, right? Yeah, that needs a remaster, man. So the gaming industry needs saving from many companies and devs focus on ESG so much instead of quality. ESG scores. Remind me what ESG stands for? Didn't we... If it's about quality standards, we already talked about that in the last Q&A, I think. I need saving from wokeness. Everything. The whole entertainment industry needs saving from that. Will there be a Hidden Gems PS5 edition? Probably, yeah, at some point. I think the first video that's gonna happen, it's probably gonna be best PS5 JRPG so far. Maybe this month, maybe next one. I don't know. But yeah, Hidden Gems, definitely. I'm the guy who created those videos. The one who started it all. I had to. If you had to pick, what console is the home of your favorite JRPG library overall? The PlayStation 2. I know you're not into monster catching, but did you hear about Pal World? Yeah, and I don't really give a damn about it. What are your top 3 RPG games on the last generation, PS4? Wow, that's just insane, man. I don't know yet. There's so many great ones out there. Probably the Trails games, the Ease games. Yeah, the SMT games. That's just impossible for me to decide right now. The letters ESG stand for Environment, Social Standards, and Governance and Reporting Obligations that apply are increasingly becoming standardized to ensure transparency between companies. So you think the gaming industry needs saving from that? It needs saving from environment, social standards, and governance, and reporting obligations that apply. Okay, I don't really. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, so I don't know exactly in detail what that entails. But if that's related to like censorship, and you mentioned social standards, like, you know, wokeness, somebody was mentioning wokeness, you know, if that's what pretty much in a nutshell is, then it definitely does saving from that. But like I said before, the entire entertainment industry needs saving from that. You know, it needs to be, I always believe that entertainment needs to be completely politics free. It needs to be completely free from all of that. I mean, it's, to me, entertainment, art included, any form of art, it's supposed to be like the ultimate expression of freedom. Like the ultimate freedom of speech, free will. That's what entertainment entails to me. Like, you need to be completely free to be able to say and do whatever you want, and people need to decide for themselves if they want to watch it or not. So, like you say, if it's just about wokeness and shit, yeah. But I've been saying this for years. I remember all the way back in what was it, like 2018 or 2019, I made a video saying the same, that these fucking people needed to go away from video games. But since video games became so huge, especially during the past several years, most likely the pandemic, for example, yeah, man, it just became such an enormous business and billionaire business, dare I say, a billionaire business. So obviously the government and social justice warriors and all that fucking people, you know, all over it nowadays and want to control it, because it's a great way nowadays to control the narrative, the political narrative, and like you say, standardize. That's a weird verb. Standardize their political beliefs. And nowadays we all know that the world is controlled by the left wing. So yeah, imagine. So I'm pretty sure it happened in Hollywood already. So if that's gonna happen, well, you know the rules, right? It's gonna be like you need to have at least one gay character in your game and several characters from different colors, races, and whatnot. And there's also gonna be more censorship, I guess. Sexualization, like fan service, I have no idea if that's gonna change. Like if it's gonna be more censored, or it's gonna be all bonkers, you know women nowadays, right? I mean, no offense to women watching right now, but it's like you sexualize yourselves and then complain about being sexualized. Like, I don't understand, to be honest. And I see a lot of women complaining about that, but I also see a lot of women in favor of that. So I don't know what standard is gonna be. I don't know if the rules are gonna be leaning towards one philosophy or the other. So I don't know what's gonna happen to fan service. Of course, there's probably going to be less swearing, maybe less blood and violence, I don't know. I will be more worried about censorship overall than anything else. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to wokeness, we've seen a lot of companies heading into that direction. Square Enix is the perfect example of that. And I have no idea if Atlus is heading that way. Probably most of the major companies are going to head that way too. Some of the smaller ones have already done something similar, like Idea Factory. So it's a thing. That's why I said last year that... That's why I said... I said this last year that I'm probably going to try to shy away from modern releases nowadays, and I'm going to go stick to the ones from before. And my channel is slowly gonna go back to a retro direction. Not retro, but more like all of those JRPGs that weren't exactly politicized. And probably gonna stick to that from now on. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna make me lose a lot of views and subscribers, and the algorithm is not gonna favor me, but I'm gonna stick to my anti-political beliefs. I believe, politics should stay the fuck away from entertainment, video games included, and I'm not gonna support the ESG. Definitely not. Anyway, so yeah, the industry definitely needs saving from that, but it needs a lot of people. It needs like the really powerful people in the entertainment business to make a stand for it, to stand the fuck up and speak against it and try to fight it. Because people like me, all I can do is do this, what I'm doing right now, speak against it. But I'm not one of the biggest influencers on YouTube. Far from it. I have no power. I'm just as weak and powerless as every single one of you. We need the big guns here, the people in power, to stand up against it. But most of the people in power are the ones creating this ESG bullshit, these left-wing shenanigans. So that's the state of the world nowadays. It's fucked up. Anyway, Maria Trader, I did not remember what a digital woman it was. I love her portrait, damn, maybe the best female character in Star Ocean franchise. Okay, she's one of my favorites. She's definitely up there with Elena. Yeah, I think Maria is my favorite Star Ocean character, in my opinion. She's my favorite, in my opinion. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, you get the idea. Did you see the new trailer for the Fate Stay Night remake? No, I did not watch the trailer, but I saw some news about it. I just forgot about... I didn't check it out. So what's it going to be, the fighting game? Like a remake of the fighting game, or is it going to be a remake of the visual novel? If it's going to be a remake of the visual novel, forget about all the hentai stuff. Of course it's going to be gone, unless it's published exclusively on PC. I don't know. So I don't know much about it. What first JRPG you play in the game make you made you a fan for the genre? Chrono Cross. Don't get too much into all that mess. It's drama. It's drama, but it's a reality, man. Yeah. I mean, it's a fact. It's destroying, this wokeness is destroying the entertainment industry. Movies, books even, video games, you know, it's all over the place. It's fucking ridiculous. You disagree, I'll lose viewers and subscribers? Well, in a website controlled by the left wing that I criticize often. If you say so, thanks for the best wishes. Anyway, do you see Nintendo becoming a woke company in the future? Nintendo, I'm not sure, you know, probably it's gonna happen at some point, but I don't know. Nintendo is like they're old school, okay? I don't know if I don't know their political beliefs, to be honest, but it's an old school company, and they are known for that, but probably at some point, yeah, we might see a gay Luigi, a black Bowser, a Mexican Peach, a drag Mario in the future. I wouldn't be surprised. There's one on 3DS, but I don't know if that's recommended for the PS2 version. What were you talking? What was the question about? Fate Stay Night, yeah. So I don't know what, I mean, I don't know what game the remake is based on. The first question about Persona 3 Reload. It got rid of some of these cool club activities. Which ones? Don't tell me the swimming one, because that's fan service right there. Wouldn't want to waste an opportunity to see some of the ladies in swimsuits. Remade. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, Swim Club was removed. Okay, so why? Because it's offensive? Did it get a teen rating? I didn't even notice. I didn't buy the game, and I'm not planning on buying it anytime soon. And I haven't played it, of course. But did it get a teen rating? It's not JRPG related, but Sony announced that their State of Play event, there is a free Silent Hill to download for. Yeah, I watched the State of Play. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing for me. For me personally, I know it probably was a big deal for a lot of people. Third-person shooters and first-person shooters and survival horror games probably had a blast with it. I didn't give a shit about it. You know, most of the games that were announced in there, I don't care. I care about Stellar Blade. That's the one I cared about. Stellar Blade finally got a release date. I think it's going to be on April, if I remember correctly. And that's awesome. That's a game I'm looking forward to. Apparently, it's going to be an exclusive on the PlayStation 5 for now. I'll get it at some point once it's out in an affordable price. But to be completely honest, it's not like I'm dying to get my hands on it. It's not like, oh my god, I'm overly excited for it. I can't fucking wait for it. No. I'd say that for a Euden Chronicle or Trails Through Daybreak, or maybe East 10 if it gets released this year, or maybe the Fate Extra remake if it gets released this year. You know, but Stellar Blade, I'm excited for it, but not that much, so I don't care that much for it. But my point is that was the highlight of State of Play for me personally. The rest of the games, like that running game, looks like a completely Sekiro ripoff. Dragon's Dogma 2, I guess it's interesting, but I never really went back to the original game on PS3 and PS4. I don't know, something about it turned me off and I never went back to it. I'd like to go back to Dragon's Dogma one day, but until I do, I don't think I care that much for its sequel. And what else was there? You know, apart from the Hideo Kojima game, what was the name? Death Stranding 2. I don't really give a shit about that. I'm not really a fan of Kojima. Never been a fan of Metal Gear. I think the only thing that I liked from Kojima is something he didn't even develop himself, only his company, and that's Konami. And that's Lunar Nights on the Nintendo DS, part of the Boktai series on the Game Boy Advance. Good games, you know, I care about those, kinda. But yeah, Hideo Kojima, not for me. And then what else was there? A bunch of first-person shooters. Square Enix doing a Fortnite ripoff. Fortnite I forget the name of the other franchise, Splatoon, I think. So kind of like Fortnite meets Splatoon, and they made a big deal about it, and that's gonna be published by Square Enix. I mean, I don't give a shit about that. So now this state of play was kind of like not interesting for me personally. And Silent Hill, the game that's supposed to be free, it looks cool. It looks interesting, to be honest. I'm worried that the main character is a girl that looks like she's like on her teens, like she's probably a high school girl. But well, what killed that game for me is the fact that it's on first person. I'm not really a fan of first person games at all, of any kind. Not even some RPGs, right? So nothing against them. It's just I get dizzy playing them. I get, I don't know, a little bit of motion sickness when I play like first person shooters or first person horror games. I remember trying Biohazard. I remember trying Amnesia, and I couldn't get past the first 15 to 20 minutes. You know, I'm like, man, yeah, not for me. So that's just me. So I don't really care about it. But I'm glad, I'm glad Konami decided to release, well, some kind of spin-off, I guess, and completely free. What is it gonna be, like a free-to-play game? I don't know about that, though. Anyway, what I do know is that the trailer looked interesting, horrific and whatnot. Silent Hill 2, the remake, looks fun and interesting. Obviously, it's now with shoulder controls, with Resident Evil 4 controls. So I'm not that interested on it, but, it's Silent Hill, and I'm a fan. I'm glad the series is back, at least in the form of a remake of the second game. What are you fighting about? What Generation Z? What are you guys on to? Persona 3 Reload was mature rated. Well, gee, I wonder why they removed the Swim Club. Not that I care much about it. I remember when I played the game on the PlayStation 2, I was never a part of the Swim Club. Didn't care too much for it, I don't remember befriending any character from the Swim Club, so I don't really give a shit, but I wonder if why? I'm just curious, why will they remove that club activity? What was wrong with it? Or maybe they realized it wasn't as popular as the other club activities? Atlus. Who understands them, right? What do you think about Sonic? Oh, that's the other thing that they showed. The Sonic game with Shadow. Sonic Cross Shadow. I'm not a fan of Sonic, so I didn't give a shit. Have you played Grand Blue? Yeah, I'm currently playing the game, and I'm, 7 hours in? Currently? I have a lot to say about the game, of course. I'm gonna review it, hoping I can release that review next Friday, but I doubt it, because I'm also trying to finish another game right in the middle. That's really unusual for me. I usually stick to just one RPG and focus on it until I finish it. But right now, since Grand Blue came out and I got a review code, miraculously got a review code from the company because I reached out. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to Exit Games and they said they weren't gonna publish the game, just the collector's edition. And then they put me in touch with Psy Games. Thank you for that. And then this girl reached out and she gave me a review code. Strangely though, she sent the review code like a day before the game came out. Grand Blue came out in on last Thursday, didn't it? Like 3 days ago. And I got the review code on Wednesday. That was weird. Why will they send a review code the day before? I don't understand that. But I have a theory, but maybe I'm not supposed to talk about it. Whatever the case, I'm grateful I got a review code and I'm playing the game, and of course I'll review the game sooner or later. Is Ys 8 the best game ever? Well, I think it's the best Ys game ever. Though my personal favorite is Ys 9. But yeah, Ys 8 is up there, definitely. Best Disgaea game. I don't know about the best one. I can give you my favorite. Though every time I make a video like that with my favorites, I call it best. Because when you use the word favorite, I don't know, it's like a lot of people don't seem to care. But I always clarify that in the videos, I think. I just recorded a script for a video that I'm going to release in a couple of days on Tuesday. It's a big video, guys. It's gonna be called the best this, you know. But at the beginning of the video, I said these are my favorites. Whatever the case, my favorite Disgaea game is Disgaea 4. Though Disgaea 2 is up there as well. Disgaea 2 is the only Disgaea game I've ever finished in my life. Disgaea 4, I made it all the way to the final boss, beat the crap out of me and I couldn't defeat it, gave up. So it's between 2 and 4 for me personally. I was just talking about Stellar Blade JCS. You missed it. The developers fired some feminists? Okay, interesting. Why? Because the game is sexualized? Huh. I don't know about that. I didn't hear anything about that. Where did you hear that? Well, whatever the case, you know, I mean, it's supposed to be a game that highlights the girl, the fan service, you know, the tight outfits. And in the trailer, we saw that she's wearing like all sorts of outfits, you know, nothing conservative in there. So. Yeah, but we knew this was going to happen from years ago, from the very first announcement, which was all the way back in 2021, I think, or 2020. That game's been announced since forever, man. And the first trailer clearly showed that the girl was going to be like, you know, like on the Nier Automata type of fan service. So, what, some feminists worked on the game and they couldn't take it anymore, so the developers fired them? Yeah, well... Don't know what to say about that. Why did they hire them in the first place? They talked about it on X and Reddit? Oh, okay. Well, that's just fucking stupid. Why did they work in the game in the first place? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why work on a game that you know is gonna be about a sexualized female character and then quit several years later saying it's politically incorrect? I mean, why work there in the first place? Are you sure these girls worked on the game? Maybe they're just trashing it because the trailer looks like sexualized as fuck. Yeah, I don't know, man. But if they worked on the game and the developers fired them, my point stands. It doesn't make any sense. Who's your favorite Grand Blue-ray Link character to play as? Seta so far. She's so fun to play as. What? I don't even know that YouTube. There's like 10 million JRPG channels out there nowadays, man, and I don't follow a single one of them. So I don't know this guy you're talking about. The JRPG Master, I don't know, man. I don't follow JRPG content on YouTube except the trailers. What other hobbies do you do besides JRPGs and YouTube? Well, YouTube is not a hobby. It's my work, it's my job. This is what I do for a living. Well, besides playing video games in general, I play the guitar, I love music. Music is my biggest passion up there with video games. I watch movies, I watch series, I hang out with my friends, family, read books, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, a shit ton of hobbies, man. The design of the protagonist of Stellar Blade is based on a female Korean supermodel. Yeah, the game definitely looks like it's like they used real people to model the characters. Makes sense. So Nemo Propaganda, thanks a bunch, man. Sunday stream, let's go. Help me pick my next game, bro. I have nothing to play right now. I think you're gonna like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, man. You're a big Star Ocean fan, and it's a game. I won't go much into detail to avoid spoilers, but I think it's a game that can be easily exploited and abused even on the hardest difficulty, and I think you'll like that. So I think you're gonna like that game, man. And that's it. Or if you wanna go retro, maybe, you're gonna have to help me help you, man. You're gonna go retro. How about you try? Have you played the Nier games? Nier Replicant, for example, their remaster remake. I don't even know what it is. That game's a freaking amazing. That's what I recommend right now. The best Xeno game for you. Wow, that's really hard, man. You know, there's only one reason why I haven't done my Xenoblade ranking. Well, my Xeno ranking, like the Xeno series ranked from worst to best, I don't have that video. Haven't done it because I'm missing Xenoblade Chronicles X. Until I play that freaking game, I'm not making the video. But if I had to choose right now, that will be my second reason why I haven't made a video, because I can't decide. I mean, it's obviously a contest between Xenogears, Xenosaga 3, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I mean, those three are the best, hands down for me. But deciding between those three, that's hard, man. What are some metal bands you're into right now? I haven't listened to any new metal bands lately. It's more like I've been focusing my guitar playing on bands that I know of, that I've known for many, many years. I haven't checked out a new metal band and became a fan. No, nothing of the sort. Yeah. And as much as I love metal, you know, I have a hard time playing metal on the guitar, like real metal, like heavy metal, you know, because there's a lot of technique to it. It's so difficult to play for me. So it's easier for me to play like grunge or alternative metal or industrial metal, right? If I go out and try to play an Iron Maiden song, I'm gonna fail miserably, man. You will probably cringe. Yeah, but I can easily play some Fear Factory songs, Nine Inch Nails, of course, or new metal. You know, new metal is also kind of easy to play. It's just it's not that it's easy to play on the guitar. It's more like I developed a technique when I was younger to play the rhythm parts and not the solos or the alternate picking is also quite hard for me. Like, oh my god, I can't do that, man. So, hope that answers your question. I'm not into any new metal bands, just the ones that I've been listening to forever. Just want to say you are my favorite dude on YouTube. Oh, thanks. Always look forward to these Q&As. That's awesome, man. I look forward to these Q&As too. Who is your favorite video game villain? Oh, that's an all-time question. I've been getting that question for many years, and I've yet to make a video about it. I don't have one yet. I don't think I can answer that question anymore. I've answered it before, but more like I attempted to answer it before and I failed. Like, there's just so many great villains out there that will be hard to answer and also hard to make a video about them. What's your opinion about the Steam Deck? No opinion, man. I don't have one. I want one. I actually want one. But I have no opinion. I don't have it. Why do you say that Shining Resonance Refrain is a bad game? I don't think it's a bad... I've never said it's a bad game. I've ranted about it. Just because I rant about a video game doesn't mean that I think it's bad. If I think a game is bad, I go out and say that. Literally. I say, this game is bad, don't play it. I've never said that about Shining Resonance Refrain, man. I think it's a game that's full of problems. It's a freaking grindfest, but it's a good game. Have you ever tried to play the Mega Man X songs on guitar or any other video game music? Not the Mega Man songs. I've tried playing some Chrono Cross music, but I'm trying to play Magical Dreamers on the guitar, but it's so hard, man. Because like I said before, I'm more into rhythm type of music when it comes to playing. And the solos, I mean, that's a solo. The entire song is a solo. The entire riff of that song is a solo. And, you know, I find it hard. I never trained myself for that. Because when I was little, what I wanted to do in a band was to be the rhythm guitarist or the singer. And that's it. I didn't want to be the lead guitarist, so I could focus on the singing. And then play the guitar in some songs, and that's it. That's what I trained myself for. So I never really trained myself to play solos or complex riffs and stuff like that. So... yeah, I'm an amateur, man. And a lot of my favorite video game music is really hard to perform. I do know some Shin Megami Tensei songs. I know some riffs from the Nocturne soundtrack, or the SMT5 or Apocalypse. I know the boss battle theme from Nocturne. One of the many. The one that sings One More God Rejected. I don't know the beginning of the song because it's kind of hard to figure out. Like, I'll figure it out. It sounds easy, but the riff, you know, I know the riff, and I know Battle Theme 7 from SMT5. It's kind of hard to play on my guitar, but I can do it. So yeah, I know a few JRPG songs, but all the JRPG, all the video game songs that I know on the guitar, I can count them with my 2 hands, maybe just one. I'd like to start learning more video game music on the guitar. Like, I'm actually tired of playing the 1-200 songs that I know already. Yeah, I know about 200 songs. Most of them I don't play them correctly because I'm not really that talented, but I know the notes and the riffs, and I know how they're supposed to be played. That counts, right? Anyway, when are you gonna make a Switch JRPG tier list? Probably never, man. Man, there's like over 200 JRPGs in there. That's gonna be a 2-3 hour long video, and oh, holy shit. I just don't see myself doing it, man. I'm doing a Nintendo DS JRPG tier list this year. Maybe next month. We'll see. No promises, but it's happening this year. What do you think about Persona 3 Reload? I haven't played it. Do you have uploaded videos of any of your band songs? Yeah, no. Well, yes and no. I was in a lot of bands, but we never recorded anything. The songs that I have here on this channel, on Erick Landon RPG, you can listen to them, but are demos. Those are my songs. Protected by copyright, by the way. Not that anybody will want to steal those songs, but they have copyright. You can listen to them, man, but they're just demos, okay? The production sucks. You know, the sound is kind of bad. You know, just expect the worst, okay, in terms of production. Maybe you'll dig the songs, but they're there. Yeah, they're called, my one-man band was called the Vortex Dimension. Check it out. Most of my demos are here on this very same channel from like many years ago, aeons ago. Not sure if you have a video about this already, but will you make a top 10 funny RPGs video? You mean like comedies? Yeah, Sakura Wars is pretty funny, especially the reboot, which came out in 2019, 2020 for us. The action RPG one, exclusive to PS4, by the way. It's a funny one. Fairy Fencer is another one. Mimana Year Chronicle. Doesn't sound like an idea that I'd like to do for a top 10. I think the top 10 is gonna fail, but yeah, I mean, why not? Maybe a video with you guys here in the chat, like the ones we've done in the past. You know, maybe one of those videos, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for bringing that up, man. I was just about to talk about that. Well, I have 70 people watching. Usually I have over 100 right now, but apparently not today. And, because I never mind. So, Tokyo RPG Factory, guys. It's over. Unfortunately, it's over. What was Tokyo RPG Factory, for those who don't know? That was a subsidy, a small company that Square Enix subsidized. I think that's the term in English. Well, Tokyo RPG Factory became a subsidiary for Square Enix many years ago, and they developed I Am Setsuna, which was successful, partially successful, enough to merit more games. So Setsuna was a success, and Square Enix said, okay, yeah, let's give these guys the green light to create another game. So they made Lost Sphere. Lost Sphere, however, was not as successful, but it sold decently. So Square Enix was kind of like, okay, do another game. Well, this time an action RPG, because Square Enix, they don't really believe in turn-based RPGs anymore. At least not for Final Fantasy. But we don't want to get into that. Not today, guys. And then Oninaki happened in 2019. And that was a failure. Didn't sell very well. Mixed reviews. I think it's a great game and I do recommend it a lot. But didn't do very well. And in 2020, Square Enix reported some financial losses thanks to that studio and to another studio that was led by Hideo Baba. That's right, the guy from Bandai Namco, the Tales guy. That guy. I don't know much about his studio. I think it's called Istolia or Istola, something like that. And they were going to do a game called Project whatever Rune. Never happened because now that company has been dissolved as well. So Square Enix this year announced that Tokyo RPG Factory is being dissolved. All of its employees are now going to be working for Square Enix, and Tokyo RPG Factory shall be no more. So they left us with 3 great games. I like all of them. Very recommended games, all of them. They didn't release a single bad game in my opinion. But yeah, that's the reality. When something doesn't sell, even if it's great, even if you guys like it, even if I like it, if it doesn't sell, it's out. It's just business as usual. If something is unprofitable and it's making a company lose money, it makes sense. So yeah, unfortunately, Tokyo RPG Factory didn't make it, and it's gone. Kinda like Careersoft. Remember Careersoft, the developers of Grow Lancer and Langrisser? The same happened. Grow Lancer, the last titles failed miserably in sales, and Atlus said, well, you know guys, your company's over, but we're going to absorb you. So at least I'm happy to know that the Tokyo RPG Factory employees still have a job and will still be able to create video games and work on video games. But yeah, it's sad news that they won't be able to create these JRPGs that were kind of like love letters to the classics. All of their games looked kind of retro, like remastered retro games. And yeah, it's a tragedy, but it's a reality. If something doesn't sell, it's over. Simple as that. So long live Tokyo RPG Factory, and at least the guys still have a job. Yeah. Sorry about the news, guys. And you want to hear even some more bad news? Well, this is out. This has been out for a long time, but I didn't know. I mean, I don't know why I found out about it just recently, a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to mention the previous Q&A. And I was like, man, I was almost devastated. Yeah. So, you know Project Cross Zone, right? You know I'm a freaking big fan of those 2 games, and I know a lot of you are fans of those games too. So I've always wanted a Project Cross Zone 3, and many years ago there were rumors that the game was going to include characters from Capcom, more characters from Capcom, like Bayonetta, for example, was going to be there, and the developers were excited to have a character like Bayonetta, which was very popular back in the day. Well, this was all the way back in 2016, and 2016 went by, 17, 18, 19, 20. I mean, it's been, what, like 7, 8 years? And no Project Cross Zone 3. So, do you want to know why? Because 7 years ago, yeah, I think it was about 7 years ago, 2 of the key developers of those games, Namco Cross Capcom, Project Cross Zone, Endless Frontier 1 and 2, you know, the Super Robot Tyson games, well, they quit Monolith Soft. And I didn't know that. And you know, it suddenly all made sense to me. I was like, so these 2 guys, the director of those games, quit Monolith Soft. So, yeah. So that's why we will probably never see a Project Cross Zone 3. Now we know after all these years. Some of you probably already knew. But I'm guessing most of you were like me, you didn't know. So these 2 key developers of those games quit Monolith Soft. I don't even know where they are right now, or what company do they work for. I have no idea what these guys are doing, but they quit the company, so chances are we will never see Project Cross Zone 3. Another piece of devastating news. Goodbye, these guys. Goodbye, Project Cross Zone. Goodbye, Tokyo RPG Factory. Sad news, everybody. Sad fucking news. Anyway, back to your goddamn questions. Am I looking forward for that Shadow Hearts sequel? It's not a sequel, it's a spiritual successor. It's Penny Blood. And of course, I supported the project, the Kickstarter. I interviewed the developer, the creator of Shadow Hearts. You can find my interview with that guy. What was his name? So many Japanese names in my head right now. I was thinking about Tokyo RPG Factory and the guys from Project Cross Zone. I'm trying to remember their names. Damn. But anyway, Matsusu Machida. That's the creator of Shadow Hearts. I interviewed him. Like on a Zoom call. Yeah! Oh man. I also interviewed the guy, the creator of Wild Arms, Akifumi Kaneko, but that was a written interview. I didn't meet him face to face, you know. too sad because he doesn't show his face. Nobody knows what he looks like, except the people who work with him, of course, in Japan. But anyway, I interviewed the creator of Shadow Hearts, and I asked him questions about Penny Blood. You can find my interview in this channel, Erick Landon RPG. And you'll see it there. So of course I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it will be released next year. Or maybe this one, who knows. This year apparently we're getting spiritual, no, some like spin-off, some kind of spin-off. Some kind of roguelike RPG. I'm not sure if I'm interested on it, but I'll check it out. But yeah, of course I'm interested in the spiritual successor, Penny Blood. Which one is the one that led Square Enix to certain mediocrity? Enix or Squaresoft? I don't think it was either. It's more like the geniuses in Square Enix. I mean, the people in Squaresoft who had a brain and real talent quit the company. Sakaguchi, Kato, Uematsu, this other guy, Takahashi. So you see, all the smart, really talented people, visionaries, they quit the company. So I think that's... Well, if you want to blame someone, blame Squaresoft. Because it was still called Squaresoft when those guys quit. And then the movie happened, right? Final Fantasy Spirits Within, which was a failure, and we all know the story. At least compared to Western publishers who are laying off employees of dissolved game studios, Square Enix have kept them on. Yeah, exactly, you know, at least the guys from Tokyo RPG Factory still have a job. Anyway, do you have an all-time favorite band? That's 9 Inch Nails. That's been my favorite band since I was 15 years old. One day I just walked into a record store, and you could listen to some random records, and there was this orange EP, called Broken, with a N at the cover, and that's it, orange background. And I listened to it and it blew me the fuck away, and I immediately became a fan, and I just felt some kind of connection. But I guess that connection didn't become stronger until I listened to their latest record, which was The Fragile, which today it's still my favorite music record of all time. Big influence, and I love it. The Fragile by 9 Inch Nails, and that's when I found out that something had changed within me. I mean, yeah. Same, it can happen to, pretty sure it happened to a lot of you. There's that one game that, that you really feel this big bond with. Like Chrono Cross for me, for example. So that's, in terms of music, that's 9 Inch Nails for me. As soon as I listened to that record, I was like, oh my fucking god, there's no other band like this. This is so unique, so original, and so freaking good. And I became a diehard, and I'm still a massive 9 Inch Nails fan. Massive. Though I'm not sure about the direction Trent Reznor has been going into. I know it was his dream to become a music composer, a movie composer, and he finally achieved that several years ago. And he's gotten 2 freaking Oscars for it. And that's great and all, but once you go into that world, it's so hard to get out unhurt. And remember the song Hurt? Maybe he can't be hurt anymore. Maybe he needs to hurt himself again. But I don't know, man. It seems to me that he's become a little bit on the political correctness side of things. I remember him insulting Elon Musk and called him a racist. And I was like, why? I don't know, maybe Elon Musk is a racist. I don't know about that, though. But Trent Reznor saying something like that in public was kind of like, man, don't tell me you've become one of those people who call everyone a homophobe, a racist, a sexist. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about Elon Musk, but I give a fuck about Trent Reznor. And when he said that, I don't know, I got some mixed feelings about it. And I know for a fact he's a Hollywood music composer with 2 Oscars. So I'm just not sure about Trent Reznor anymore, but I'll always be a 9 Inch Nails fan no matter what. Favorite band? Deftones, The Cure, up there with all my all-time favorite bands. Anyway. What? I don't understand your question. An English-speaking guy at Square Enix in Tokyo just bought a copy of Xenogears. Perfect works in English. From us? from the US. Remaster incoming or season this? What were you trying to ask, man? Are you trying to ask that you think that guy buying a copy means a remaster is coming? That's a long fucking stretch. I don't think so. Anyway, do you think the massive success of Pal World might put JRPGs in danger? No. I don't think it's gonna touch video games. I mean, JRPGs in general. Yeah, I don't really care about Pal World, man. Don't give two fucks about it. Not that I'm against it, or I don't even know. I haven't even watched gameplay footage. All I know it's some kind of third-person shooter with monsters that look like Pokemon. I don't really care for it, man. So, an employee from Square Enix bought a copy of Xenogears Perfect Works from you, from Hyperplay RPG. No offense, but who are you? Who the hell are you? What makes you think that has to do with the fact that maybe the game's getting remastered? You really want Xenogears Remaster that bad? Yeah, Xenogears, HD 2D, that'll be cool. Just keep it turn-based. Yeah, well, who are you guys? Hyperplay RPG, we do RPG books? Okay. Thanks for being a fan, man. I don't think someone buying something just because he works for Square Enix means the game's getting remastered. Sorry to burst your bubble, man, but I mean, that's a long stretch, man. This freaking music. Sakura Wars. Love this music, man. I missed all of your your opinionated comments about Tokyo RPG Factory. Oh man, well, there are some fans here, some haters. Okay. Somebody was asking a while back. I missed your question, sorry. If you're still watching, you asked, did you make the song of your intro? No, I didn't. That was the legendary Sultan. He's a YouTuber. He has a YouTube channel called Turn-Based Memories. Check it out. Where to start with Atelier series. I made a video about that. Check it out. Is Sakura Wars a big deal in Japan? Yeah, it was. Maybe not anymore because we haven't heard, and they haven't either, anything from the series for the past 4 years. Hasn't been any news, any new games, nothing of the sort. Yeah, so it's like nobody gives shit about it anymore. Sadly, I do, I still do. I want the first games to be released in North America in some kind of remaster, port, whatever, as long as they're available in English. But yeah, from what I've heard and read, Sakura Wars was a huge deal in Japan. It was a very, very popular franchise, and it was the franchise that popularized like the hybrid mix of visual novel with survival horror. I mean, with survival with RPG, and they also kind of made popular the dating sims. I mean, dating simulators in video games have been... Dating sim elements have been there since forever, right? But I think in Japan, Sakura Wars made that like really popular. And then along came Persona. So in Japan, not in the West, in Japan, you could say that Sakura Wars did it first. I mean, other games did it before Sakura Wars. But Sakura Wars made dating sim in RPGs popular, not Persona. Yeah, so it's a huge fucking deal in Japan, man. Yeah, they're fan translated, the Sega Saturn games. But I was talking about, you know, Sega bringing the games over to PS5 or Switch, if at least digital, in some kind of service maybe, or at least on the Game Pass. I don't have an Xbox, but you know, maybe I'll get one. I need more excuses to get an Xbox Series X or an Xbox One at least, and use the Game Pass to play games. But anyway, yeah, I know they're fan translated, and I haven't played it. I have always have trouble emulating Sega Saturn games. Anyway, have you played any of the Dragon Ball Z RPGs, like Attack of the Saiyans on DS and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? Yes, I played both of them. I didn't finish a single one of them. Attack on the Saiyans, I remember emulating it a long time ago, and I liked it. It was pretty good, amazing battle system. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I played the demo, and it was interesting, but I didn't like its open world features. It felt a bit overwhelming for me. So I remember flying around in the Golden Cloud with Piccolo as a party member, and I did some side quests in there, and it just felt like any other open world game, like nothing original. It's just Dragon Ball Z open world, and I liked it. I'm probably gonna get it once I see it for dirt cheap, because I don't want to spend $20-$30 on a game that I know I probably won't like, or I'll just probably ignore all the open world features and focus on the main story. But the main story is just the same story we've seen recycled many times since I was a little kid. Fight Raditz, Goku dies, Piccolo trains Gohan, Goku trains in heaven, Vegeta and Nappa come back. I mean, it's just the same story recycled all over and over again with each entry, so I'm tired of it. So I liked Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I'm not that interested on it. It's like the demo didn't exactly convince me. So I don't know. I'll play it if it's dirt cheap one day, but don't expect me to cover that game anytime soon. Haven't played Persona 3 Reload. Yeah, Summon Night 6 Lost Borders is a good game. It's not a great game. You say you're definitely looking forward to playing it. Yeah, it's good. Just don't expect it to be like, wow, okay, it's no masterpiece. But it's decent. The battle system is great. It's a fun game. It's long, and it's easy as hell, except for the final boss. Play that game on normal mode, and once you get to the final boss, you're gonna be like, what the hell? What's up with this completely sudden difficulty spike? Huge spike. So you might want to train your characters along the way, or just beat the final boss on easy. But yeah, good game, man. Not really that hyped for Dragon's Dogma 2. I like the... I guess the first game was alright, but I never went back to it. I only played for like an hour. You know how the game starts, you beat the dragon, and then you're in town, and then you get ready for another mission, and you go into that mission, and I don't remember if I completed the first mission of the game. I don't even remember. But yeah, it was good. I liked what I played. I just never went back to it. So until I go back to Dragon's Dogma 1, I don't really care that much for the second one. And obviously, I'm not hyped for it. Do you like Yu-Gi-Oh? Not really. Are you gonna play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when it's on sale or something? Yeah, I did the same with Final Fantasy VII Remake. The first part, I waited like... It came out in 2020, right? And I remember I played it on January of 2022. So yeah, almost 2 years after its release. Because I found it for like $20. And that's what I'm probably going to pay for part 2. But I'm not going to play it at launch. I've played Fairy Fencer F. It did not hook me up. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. Should I give it a second chance? How many hours did you put into it? I mean, Fairy Fencer is a game you play for the fan service, for the comedy, if it makes you laugh, and for the battle mechanics, which aren't that great, you know, but they're good and original and fun to play, you know. But if you didn't find any of those three things interesting, no, don't give it a second chance, forget about it. Because the entire game is just the same. It's more comedy, more fan service, and more of that battle system. Knights of Azure 1 or Dead End Request 1 for my next game to play. Well, they're completely different games. On one hand, we got a turn-based RPG with some visual novel elements. And on the other hand, you got a full-fledged action RPG, which is shorter. Death and Request is going to take you, like, at the very least 25 to 30 hours to complete, whereas Knights of Azure you can beat in, like, less than 20 hours. And none of those. Death and Request, I don't remember if it has an easy mode or hard mode. The Knights of Azure one, you cannot choose the difficulty. So if difficulty is a big deal for you, maybe go with Death and Request, because I think I remember you can up the difficulty to hard or easy if you want an easy ride. Knights of Azure is challenging and doesn't have any difficulty settings. But yeah, it's hard to compare, man. It's as if you were asking me Nier Replicant versus Dragon Quest XI. Like, come on, man. Play both. Flip a coin. Both games, you have to play those two games, man. If you have them, you have to play them. Anyway, there were rumors about a few months ago about Fantasian coming to Steam. Well, yeah, I hope it comes to consoles one day. Which Breath of Fire deserves a remake first? Oh, a remake! Not just a remaster. Like a remake done from scratch. A la Final Fantasy VII remake or a la Star Ocean 2. Definitely the first games, man. Yeah, 3 and 4 have aged not so well in my opinion, but they're still kind of fun to play and they look great on your screen, on your flat screen. Both games look great and they're fun to play. It's okay. They're okay still. But the first two, graphically speaking, they still look fucking fantastic. The graphics, the visuals, the pixel art, oh my god, right? But the gameplay mechanics, random encounters, you can't run, you need to do a lot of backtracking, there's difficulty spikes, the encounter rate is high in both of them, especially in 2. Holy shit, man. Yeah, definitely the first two deserve some kind of HD 2D remake. Definitely, man. If I had to pick between 1 and 2, I'd probably pick 2. But I don't want Capcom to ignore the first one. So, like Konami is doing with Silent Hill, completely ignoring the first game and went straight to remaking the second game. Why? Just remake the first Breath of Fire and then the second one. So that's my answer. Ashoka Tano, thanks a bunch for the donation once again. I loved Sakura Wars in PS4, but I love the visual novel parts, not the gameplay. Should have been a strategy RPG, not a hack and slash. I kind of agree. I thought the hack and slash in Sakura Wars was great. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, we don't like when our companies decide to go action instead of turn-based or strategy. We don't want that, right? Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm not strongly against that, but yeah. I really like Sakura Wars So Long My Love. I mean, I'm a huge fucking fan of that game. And one of the best things about it was a strategic battle system. I really enjoyed it. And in the PS4 game, it just feels like it's just that, like mindless hack and slash. And it's fun. I like mindless hack and slash. That's what I'm trying to say. But it should have remained strategic, in my opinion. Persona 4 Remake next? Probably. I don't know how successful Persona 3 Reload is going to be. If it is, yeah, you bet your ass Atlas is going to remake Persona 4 next. Which is sad, because I was hoping they will look backwards. Instead of going up in numbers, they will go back and remake Persona 2. Man, I want Persona 2 remade, goddammit. More so than Persona 4. Persona 4 you can play right now, it's awesome. PS2, PS Vita, PS4, Switch, Steam. You play the fucking game and it's awesome. It doesn't need a remake. But Persona 2 with Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin, man, those are just not for me, not fun for me to play anymore. I want those games remade before Persona freaking 4. Do you think Street Fighter 6 is politicized? Ooh, you didn't play it, man? That's the best example of forced inclusion in there. There's a character of every fucking social culture nowadays. Fuck Street Fighter 6, man. Question, how are you doing today? I'm doing great. How are you doing? Will you still play Dragon Quest 12 if they make it an action RPG? Probably not. No, but probably not. But I will probably wait until it's like $10 or $20, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I will do the same. I would have waited on Final Fantasy 16 had it not been a gift. Oscar, my friend, gave it to me on my birthday, Final Fantasy 16, but I was planning on doing the same. I was like, man, I'm gonna play Final Fantasy 16 when it's like $15. You know, if Dragon Quest 12 goes action, I'm gonna do the same. I'm not gonna give a shit about it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna review it, and I'm gonna wait forever until the price drops considerably, and then I'll play it. Just to play it, man. Just to have an opinion. I mean, it's Dragon fucking Quest. I have to, even if it's action, even if it's politicized. I'm gonna have to play it and have an opinion about it, right? Only took them 40 years to get Persona 4 Golden on PS4. Nah, come on, it took them 10 years. The remasters came out on 2023, right? Exactly 1 year ago, I remember. And Persona 4 Golden was released on 2012, at the end of 2012. So yeah, it took them 10 years. Come on, give them a break. Question, did you know that Persona 5 Tactica is now already on sale for $20? Probably in your country, not in mine. Let me check it out. Here on Amazon right now. Amazon Mexico. Persona 5 Tactica. Let's see. Nope! It's not $20, dude. PS4, PS5 versions are... It's 1,400 Mexican pesos. That's like $80. PS5 version, it's a little bit cheaper. That's like $75. That's the equivalent of $75. That's just fucking ridiculous. The Switch version, however, it says here it's 885 Mexican pesos. That's like $50. So yeah, it went down in price in some countries. I heard about that, just not in mine. Man, fucking hell, Unicorn Overlord is gonna be 1,500 Mexican pesos, which is on the Switch, which is the equivalent of like $80. Man, prices are getting ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous, man. Anyway, is Persona 3 FES that hard? Yeah, well, here's the problem. In Persona 3, the original versions, on the PlayStation 2, like FES, for example, you can't control your party members. So if you play the game on normal or hard, chances are your party members might ruin some of your strategies and might fuck up by wasting their turn on something really stupid. And that's what makes the game so hard. So yeah, it's hard. And that's the reason why I've done 2 full playthroughs of Persona 3, the original version and then FES, and I played both times on easy. Because I was like, man, no, if I can't control my party members' actions, I'm not gonna play this on normal mode. So I've always played them on easy. But I don't think let me tell you something, I don't think on normal mode it's gonna be that hard. That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard, but I don't think it's that hard. Now that you mentioned Oscar, will you make videos with him again? Yeah, maybe, you know, he needs to step in and commit. The channel died, and we said that in the last video, that because of him, because he has no time for it. And because I was so tired of him canceling recording dates, last minute canceling, you know, it was just, man, it was insane. I went through all of that for years, and I just, I got tired of it. So if he's willing to commit and maybe at least record once a month, man, I will be happy to revive the channel. We're gonna talk about it soon. You know, he reached out a couple of weeks ago precisely to talk about it. And I'm not gonna give you any hopes, okay? Or any other fan of the channel out there. Nothing's guaranteed, but we agreed to talk in person about the channel if there's some way to revive it. But I'm gonna give him to him straight, and I'm giving it to you guys straight. If he can't commit, it's over. It's not gonna happen. Why is this song so? Oh, because it's ending. That's why. What else is there? Oh, Holders of Power from East. Holy shit. Great song, right? Anyway, so somebody was asking about... fuck. I don't want to talk about Final Fantasy 16 and its wokeness, because we're only giving that attention. Anyway, if you had to choose one of these to play for the first time, which will it be? Octopath 2, Cosmic Star Heroine, I Am Setsuna, or Live Alive? Live Alive, I haven't finished it. I only played the demo. So I guess I will have to decide between those other three. Like, you need to wipe my memory and choose between those three games? I will probably go with Octopath simply because I played the first one, and I wouldn't wipe that from my memory, right? And Cosmic Star, if I wiped my Cosmic and Setsuna from my memory, I wouldn't even know the games. So I will go straight for Octopath. And to be honest, as much I love those three games, as much I love Cosmic and Setsuna, I think Octopath 2 is the better game for me. I liked it more. But man, going through Cosmic Star Heroine again, that would be a blast. Like, for the first time, without any memory of playing it, man. That's the first indie RPG in existence, or hell, the first indie video game in existence that blew me away. I was like, oh my god, that's when I said, I can't believe indie developers can make video games this good. See? Persona 5 Tactica, it just went down in price in the United States of America, maybe. So no. Do you think Fire Emblem will become like those franchises that try to milk out the most profit out of their games, like Atlus with Persona? Not really. I don't think so. I mean, they've done it before with some spin-offs, Warriors and Heroes on mobile phones. I think they will definitely milk. I mean, it's not like they will become. They're already like that. But they aren't milking their franchise as much as freaking Atlus with Persona 5. Nowhere near. Which characters did you enjoy the most in Final Fantasy 16? Not too many, to be honest. One of the reasons why I stopped playing the game was because I just got bored. I just got to a point where I was like, man, I don't really care about any of these characters. The one that I liked was the girl. What was her name? The girlfriend. The childhood friend. The one that controls Shiva. I forget her name. I kind of liked her, but she just got this shitty... I was gonna say she got this shitty character development, but no, there's no character development except when you reach that part, which I'm not gonna spoil, and she confronts her past. But other than that, I felt like all the time she was just kinda there, like the dog or the wolf that hangs around with Clive, right? I mean, it's just... yeah, man. Do you consider... Jill, thanks, yeah. Her. I think she's completely wasted potential, man. She could have been a phenomenal character, and she's just kinda there. Like the female companion, haha. I don't know, man. That's a game that went downhill for me. First hours was like, oh my god, it's awesome, and it slowly went like this. Like, what a train wreck. Not a bad game, though. Why don't you do more collaboration? Because they don't want to. Simple as that. Probably because I quit social media. But they can still reach out via email, and they don't want to. So why don't you go and ask them, not me. What's a horrible game you think everyone should... Interesting question. What's a horrible game you think everyone should play? I think, no, definitely not Time and Eternity. Nobody should play that. There are some really, really bad JRPGs that I think everybody should play just to laugh, just for fun, because everybody should check them out because they're so bad, so fucking stupid, you know, they're kind of not good but fun. Like Draken, for example. I think everybody needs to play Draken on the Super Nintendo because it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just bad, man. But bad in such a funny way. It's such a bad game. But there are others that I wouldn't recommend, like Valhalla Knights. Nobody should play that piece of shit, man. Maybe Dragoneer's Aria. I don't think it's horrible, but I think it's a bad game. But I don't know, I wouldn't recommend that to everybody. Just Draken is more fun. There's a lot of RPGs out there that are like broken, but broken in a funny way. Not in the natural doctrine way. That's do not play that fucking garbage. I will recommend Virtual Highlight, because on the Sega Saturn, I know most people are not gonna play the game, but that's a game that's so unbelievably bad. That's like, man, why is the? I mean, did they really develop the game like this? Did they really? And they didn't give a fuck. I was like, oh man, yeah, let's publish the game. It doesn't matter. Like, why? How could you publish a game like that? It's horrible. It's broken. It's freaking terrible. I think that's a game everybody should play. Just the first, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes to realize, man, this is insanely bad. It's a fun one to pick on. What else? Metabots Infinity on the GameCube. That's also one, man. No way. It's funny, you know. It's so fucking horrible, horrendous. Yeah, definitely that one. Fun question. It's like 35 in the US. Which one? Persona 5 Tactica? Yeah. See? Maybe it just went down in price in Yum Yum's universe. Imaginary universe. Did you finish 7th Dragon 3 Code VFD? No, I did not. It's a good game, though. What about that game, the reason why I didn't finish it is because I got to a point where the game felt very repetitive. And you see, I'm not the biggest fan of JRPGs. I've beaten some of them, and I'm a fan of some, but not most of them, where your protagonists are customizable generic characters. Like, I'm not really a fan of that. Okay, so that's one reason why I stopped playing it, but the other reason why is it's because the game got to a point where it was like going to the hardcore direction and grindfest direction, and I abandoned it. I think it's a good game and I do recommend it, just I didn't feel back then, and I still don't feel like it now, to play a game like that, unless it gives me, like, proper motivation. Like, characters, protagonists with a personality. I don't know. What about White Knight Chronicles? What about it? Thank you. Oscar and I'll do my best. I'll put my 5 cents, okay, in the talk we're going to have when we meet in person, maybe in a couple of weeks. The fate of Discussion Gamer will be decided soon. You guys got Cosmic Star Heroine on Switch? That's awesome. That's limited run games, right? If I'm not mistaken, I own the PS4 version, physical. That was a gift though, but yeah, those games like Cosmic Star Heroine, man, those are the types of games that totally deserve a physical release. It's just something you own. It feels special, right? I mean, you buy a AAA game and yeah, you own it, okay, but a game like that kind of like feels special owning it. Like, I don't know, or maybe I'm just a diehard fanboy of it. Drakengard 3 is a bad game I recommend to people. I definitely do not think it's a bad game, but I do believe it's full of problems. And I don't even know why I didn't include that game on my compilation video I did about troublesome and divisive JRPGs. That was a weird compilation. A lot of people didn't watch it. And it got a little bit shadow banned because of the swearing. There's some swearing in there. I got some clips from previous videos where I swore, I cursed, I threw some F-bombs in there. Probably the reason why. Anyway, that's a fun compilation. You guys, if you want to watch it, it's full of great games, good games, not a single bad game in there. But it's just about JRPGs that are kind of like divisive, troublesome, like Drakengard 3. Even though I didn't include that game, what an idiot. It should have been there. That's the perfect example of a very troublesome JRPG. Anyway, Shin Megami Tensei Ronde is even worse. Never heard about it. I didn't even know it existed. What are your thoughts about Oninaki? I was just talking about it about an hour ago. I think it's a great game. I do recommend it. Too bad the developers are not dead, but you know, the company was recently absorbed by Square Enix. But Oninaki, I think it's a really good game, man. No, it's not like wow. No, but it's a good game, and the story, unique story. You will rarely find stories like that in JRPGs, so the story is definitely worth checking out the game for. Pretty good game. Tales of Arise versus Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. Ys 9 for me, I'm a bigger Ys fan than Tales fan nowadays. And I think Monstrum Nox, well, Monstrum Nox is definitely my favorite Ys game of all time so far. Really liked it. Whereas Tales of Arise took some liberties with the storytelling and went science fiction for no reason. All the Tales games, well, not all of them, but most of them have some science fiction elements, but they keep it to a minimum, right? And Tales of Arise pretty much went Star Ocean level of science fiction. Sorry for the spoiler, that's all I'm gonna spoil. And but it's also a really good game. I really like Tales of Arise. But I think Ys 9, in terms of combat, in terms of storytelling, in terms of music, is just far superior. The only thing Arise is superior to Ys 9 is the graphics. But because the company Bandai Namco has more money to develop better graphics and better visuals and a better graphic engine than Falcom. Okay, so it's unfair to compare the rich with the poor. Not that Falcom is poor, they're not poor, but you see what I mean, right? So yeah, Ys 9 all the way is a much better game, in my opinion. RPG is divisive like Star Ocean 3 and 4. 4 wasn't included. 3, I don't remember if I included the game or not. But yeah, games like that are included in this compilation. Definitely. So, yeah, the video didn't do very well in views, but if you want to check it out, it's there. But it's 1 hour long. You might want to take it easy. But I sat through it, you know, probably because I made it myself. But I always watch my videos on my TV when I publish them, after I publish them. And that video in particular didn't feel like it was dragging. Like I felt like I wanted more. Because I made it in such an entertaining way. Anyway, watch the video. Watch it. Ever tempted by those new Chinese emulation handhelds? They're pretty sweet for retro RPGs. Not really. I have my laptop for emulation, my PS TV, which is pretty decent at emulating stuff. The PS TV, the PlayStation Vita, you know, you plug into your TV. I'm fine with these two things. I want a Steam Deck, but probably gonna wait for the price to drop considerably. Because I don't need it. I want it, but I don't need it. Does Vanillaware have some agreement with Sony and Nintendo for not releasing their games on Xbox? I don't know. You see, a lot of companies and developers don't really think it's worth releasing their games on Xbox, because it's a worldwide known fact that Xbox has never been the preferred choice to play JRPGs. Might be a great choice for playing Western RPGs. I think, for example, The Witcher 3, the Xbox One version was superior to the PS4 version. I read that, I don't know if that's true. But when it comes to Japanese RPGs, most people don't buy an Xbox. and most people don't play them there. And companies know that. Nowadays, though, things have changed. There's a lot of Xbox One JRPGs. Not a single exclusive, unfortunately, but there's a shit ton of JRPGs on the Xbox One, released for the Xbox One. I'm not talking about Game Pass and all, you can play all their games. No, I'm talking about games that were developed for the PlayStation 4 and were also released on the Xbox One. There's a shit ton of them, over 50, believe it or not. Does that mean I can do a tier list one day? No, nobody's gonna give a fuck, because nobody gives a fuck about Xbox. And companies like Vanillaware probably knows that. But I'm just speculating here. I have no idea why some companies like Vanillaware don't get their games released on Xbox consoles. I don't know, I have no idea, but I'm just speculating. I'm assuming it's maybe, possibly because of something like that. Are you more into complex or simple characters usually? Complex, really. Always, every time. Not that I dislike simple characters. I do like, the cliche, the power of friendship, and simple-minded characters that, classic cliches, right? I like those too, but yeah, definitely will always give preference to a complex character than a simple character. Because complex characters, I feel they represent humans more in a more realistic way. Because human beings, every single human being, we're complex creatures. We aren't one-sided, simple-minded creatures like those JRPG protagonists. It's just, yeah, I'm a complex human being, so I like complex characters. Xbox just isn't popular in Japan. They prefer Nintendo and Sony. Yeah, so another reason why they don't care about Xbox. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm speculating, but I'm pretty sure the reason why it's because of that. Like, they just don't give a shit about Xbox over there. Tales games are no strangers to science fiction. I know that. Didn't I say that before? Are you looking forward to Visions of Mana? Sure, I am. It looks interesting, it looks cool. Trials of Mana looked better. Probably because of the ladies. But yeah, Visions of Mana looks legit. It looks cool. Haha, you're welcome. I want to thank you for introducing me to Trails of Cold Steel. You're welcome. Now go and play Trails in the Sky. Start from the beginning. I'm more annoyed that Vanillaware games don't get released on PC. That's there. I don't really care for PC, you know that, but you have a point. Why not? I mean, almost every single JRPG in existence gets released on PC nowadays. Why not the Vanillaware games? Why are they exclusive to consoles? Why not a Steam release? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I agree with that. Even though I don't care about PC at all, or Steam, I mean, they have no reason not to. I mean, it's not like every single video game in existence needs to have a multi-platform release nowadays. But yeah, the era of exclusivity is over. I mean, there's barely any exclusive games on the PlayStation 4. There's more on Nintendo, obviously, but most of them are first-party games. Mario, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Kirby, those games, right? But everything else, almost every single third-party game, almost. Okay, I know SMT5 is still exclusive on the Switch, and that's a third-party game, but the large majority of third-party games are available elsewhere. And a lot of them, most of them, are on Steam. The large majority of the large majority is on Steam. So it just makes no sense that Vanillaware games are not on Steam. It's just dumb. Secret of Evermore Remaster? Nah, I don't really care about that game. But maybe I would try the remaster to see if I finally can become a fan. But the Super Nintendo version and me, we don't get along, man. Who do you think is the strongest Trails protagonist? Estelle, Lloyd, or Rin? Rin, you said it yourself, Rin. He gets overpowered, he has special powers, he can transform into this demonic thing, these spiritual beings. Yeah. Easy. Rain is the most powerful, obviously. Do you believe in game preservation through piracy? Yeah, I've made several claims on that, and I've talked about that many times before in the past. I've made videos about it. That, yeah, piracy emulation is one of the best forms of video game preservation. Not the best one, but it's one of the best. Between Soray and Asbel, which one do you tolerate more? Asbel. I didn't find Asbel from Tales of Graces intolerable. Soray, actually, I didn't find Soray intolerable either. I can tolerate both characters just fine, but Asbel is a more interesting character than Soray. Soray is very generic. Not that Asbel isn't, but Asbel is more interesting. Plus, he gets the one of the best character progressions in video games, in Tales games, at least in the Tales series. We see the guy from he's like 8 years old, and then like 14, and then 17. So we see the guy grow up from a kid to a young adult. So of course he's the more interesting character, but I wouldn't call either of them intolerable. The one that I had a hard time tolerating was Mikleo from Cesteria. I liked some of his comebacks and dialogue, but overall, as a character, he was just a pain in the ass to deal with. And then Savid was an asshole. Alicia was fine. I liked Alicia, but she was kind of generic. I'm actually glad Rose turned out to be the true main character, the true heroine in that game, because I like Rose a lot. But yeah. What was the other? Edna, I understand why people love her, but she's kind of like, but I didn't have to tolerate her. And Lila, I fucking love Lila. Or Laya? Was it Laya or Lila? Well, she's gorgeous and whatever. Yeah, Mikleo was the only character in Cesteria that I didn't quite tolerate very well. Who is the worst Tales protagonist? Probably Luke from Tales of the Abyss. Still, he gets some interesting development, and he comes around near the end. And at the end, you're like, okay, I'm okay with this guy now. I like this guy now. But yeah, most of the game is like, fuck this guy, man. What a douchebag. Luke from Tales of the Abyss. Well, yeah. The rest are fine. Soray from Cesteria, we were just talking about him, could be considered as one of the worst, because he's just generic. There's not much to say about him, he's just there. But, yeah. I think that's it, man. I've seen some complaints about the main character in Tales of Destiny 2. The real Tales of Destiny 2. The one that never came out of Japan. Because that's Stan's kid. But I haven't played that game, so I don't know. Kless is fine. Kless from Tales of Fantasia. I found him more interesting than your average generic hero protagonist. But yeah, he's not one of the best. I think it's easier to say who are the best. Like, Velvet is definitely the best. Senel is annoying. I know a lot of people hate the guy, but I think he's one of the most interesting, complex protagonists in the game. There's also Vesperia, of course. Yuri is one of the best protagonists. Unusual, slightly mature protagonist, of course. Alphen isn't that bad, I like the guy. He goes kind of generic after a while and forgettable, but during the first hours, he's an interesting protagonist. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah. It's just easier to say who are the best instead of the worst. Thank you, Skycatcher Gaming. I'm about 4 chapters into Revenant Army. Oh man, and I am loving your character descriptions as always. Pretty overwhelming descriptions, right? Describing the characters to every detail. Even the color of their underwear. No, I don't go that far, but what goes into creating characters for you? Back then, I've changed my descriptions. I don't know if you read more recent descriptions like The Reaper's Thorn or Nick's Inferno. They aren't as detailed. Because when those books came out, one of the first things people and fans criticized was that the descriptions were overwhelming. Like, man, this is Tolkien level of describing. And I didn't describe it that way because of Tolkien, but because back then I thought that people should imagine the characters the exact same way I imagined them. And that was a mistake. I think creating books is more about letting people imagine the characters the way they want to, and you just give them a little push. Like, give them something tangible to imagine. Like, oh, she's a redhead, she has long hair and green eyes, and she's wearing a long black dress. And that's it, don't be too detailed about character descriptions. That's just how I think nowadays. So what goes into creating characters for you? Pretty much that nowadays. Like, I have a really strong image in my head, and then I try to put that into words, but not in such an overwhelming way like in Terra Gaiden or Revenant Army. More like in a way that people can have more like a standard version of them in their head, the one that I created for them, but the rest goes into their imagination, right? I like that. It's a more interesting relationship between reader and writer. I think so. Give them a little liberty to imagine certain details on their own. I like that. I mean, if you want to imagine some of my characters with huge tits or big asses, which I don't describe any of them that way, except maybe for just Venus in Terra Gaiden. But she's wearing armor, so you can't really see her attributes. But yeah, if you want to imagine my characters like that, up to you, right? Hope that answered your question, Skycatcher Gaming. Thanks for the donation. Haven't played Persona 3 Reload yet. Keys was asking something. Will you consider Arc Rise Fantasia's best battle system unique? Not that unique, but yeah, definitely. It's a unique combat where with everybody's bound by an action points bar, and you gotta like choose your actions carefully. It's not just choose the action for this character and then this other character and then this other character. No, you need to choose who's gonna act. I mean, or you can do that too, the way I just described it. But everybody shares the same action points bar, and there's only a limited amount of actions you can do and perform. So yeah, it's a unique battle system, definitely. Not that unique, but unique nonetheless. How about Sense of Destruction? Do you like the game? I do. I never finished it. I rage quit on it a long time ago because the enemies abused the battle mechanics a lot. I don't remember much about that, but I remember this boss fight in prison. You revisit a prison with just the two main characters, the guy and the girl, no other party members, and you gotta beat this guy. And he's a cheap motherfucker. He keeps abusing the battle mechanics against you over and over again, and it was just horrible, and I rage quit. And I grinded, and I still died. It's such an unfair battle, man. Cheap battle. I think Sense of Destruction is an amazing game, or it could have been, let me put it this way, it could have been an amazing game had it not been kinda ruined by these obnoxious and awful difficulty spikes. And I'm also happy to know that some reviewers, many years later, after rage quitting on the game, I read some reviews about it online, some magazines, and they actually agree with me. Man, they were complaining about the same, how the enemy AI, some bosses are so fucking cheap and unfair, man. Yeah. It's a good game, though, and it had potential, and there's an anime based on it. Watch the anime instead. But yeah, it's a good game, just get ready for those nasty spikes. Great music. I think Yasunori Mitsuda did some of the music. I kind of agree with that, Donsk says, in terms of keeping the party chemistry great, without Yuri, Tales of Vesperia loses a lot. I kind of agree with that. Yeah, it's still a solid cast of characters though. But take out Yuri and put, I don't know, Sorey or Asbel or any of those other generic hero tropey characters, and it's just not the same, yeah. Estelise, that's her name, right? Estelle, yeah. She's a funny character. I like her. Judith is definitely the more complex and mysterious character. I wish we could have learned more about her, and I wish the game could have developed her a little bit more. I mean, I know she's the fan service of the game because she's hot and sexy, you know, but I liked her character a lot, and I liked her relationship with Yuri way more than Estelle and Yuri. Like, Estelle feels more like she should be around someone like Flynn. And Yuri has had just way more chemistry with Judith, in my opinion. I like that couple a lot, even though it's not the canon couple. And then there's Carol, and Carol was kind of like forgettable at first, but he gets some really interesting development throughout the game, and I like that because we all go, when we're kids, we go through similar things like that. There's always that one moment where we need to stand up for ourselves, and that's what he does, and I like that. I wish I could have stood up against some people back when I was a little kid. I stood up against some, but I wish I could have stood up against others, you know, that were more like bullies or unfair or something like that. Oppressive. And I like that about Carol. So, and then the other characters, right? The Raven, I mean, no spoilers, but we know what happens with that guy. And the dog, Repeat, is awesome. He's just awesome. He doesn't need any development whatsoever. He just needs to be there because he's such a badass wolf, dog type of character. But what I'm trying to say about Vesperia is that even without Yuri, the cast is good. But yeah, I feel like Yuri is the soul of the game. Unlike other Tales games, I feel like in other Tales games, other party members and characters bring a lot to the table. And Vesperia feels like everybody brings something to the table, but thanks to Yuri. Yeah. How about the Pirate Girl? I don't know the Pirate Girl because I own the remaster and I put some hours into it, but I didn't reach the part where she joins you. So I don't really know that character. I can't speak for her. And she was in the original version. They removed her for no reason in the Xbox 360 version. I beaten that version twice. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna go into detail about what Isha Gaming channels are blacklisting her. I have no idea, man. I don't think it's because of the collab she did with me. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know, man. Thanks, Ashoka. Muse is the best. I had my boy Reen get with her and give head pats. Muse is definitely a very interesting character. During the first game, until the plot twist, her plot twist, let's not mention it to avoid spoilers, but obviously you see her as fan service. I mean, she's hot, she has a really short skirt, and she's just funny because she's always insinuating herself to Reen. She's all over him, and it's funny, right? She grows on you quickly, unlike other characters like Juna. Juna took forever for her to grow on me. At the beginning, I was like, throughout the entirety of Trails of Cold Steel 3, I was like, man, fuck this character, man. But she's there, also in Cold Steel 4, in Reverie, and at the end, she grew on me a little bit. But Muse, I liked her almost right away from the start because she was always teasing Reen and she was funny. And yeah, I liked Muse, man. And after the plot twist, you're like, oh my god, yeah, I love this character, right? She wasn't my waifu. Of course, Reen and Laura have always been the perfect couple, the perfect video game couple for me. Since the beginning, since the first game, I was like, Reen needs to be with Laura, period. And she's been with Laura in my playthroughs on every single game. Yeah, I tried on separate save files to see what goes on between Reen and other characters, other girls, but it's just nowhere near as interesting as with Laura. I mean, they're just meant to be with each other, man. They have everything in common, and man, I'm being a fanboy, huh? Did you watch the Sony State of Play? Yeah, we talked about it a lot. Sorry, man, I don't want to talk about it again, but to summarize it, yeah, the only one that I cared about was Stellar Blade. The rest, I didn't care too much about it, not even the Silent Hill 2 remake. Have you played any Metal Gear Solid games? Yeah, and I didn't like them, I didn't become a fan. I remember playing the first one on the... I never played the NES games. I played the first one on the PlayStation 1 at a friend's house a long time ago. Something about it turned me off, and then, I don't know, I don't like Snake's personality. He's too Western, badass type of character, you know, and that cliche, you know, overstayed his welcome a long time ago in Hollywood movies. I know for a fact the character is based on the Snake from Pliskin, what's his name? Pliskin, right? From Escape from New York, which is a good movie. A bit overrated for my taste, but I like the movie, and I like the character. So then you see this guy in Metal Gear, which is basically a ripoff of that character. I mean, I don't know. And then the gameplay, while I do like that the fact that you hide from enemies and ambush them, I like that, you know. Something about the story progression and the gameplay progression turned me off. I just didn't find it appealing for me, and I gave up. I remember playing, what was it, like Subsistence? I think that's the third one, right? It's on the PS2. And same, I was like, man, no, I don't like Metal Gear, period. Isn't Alisa canon? It was supposed to be during the first games, and then the developers noticed that, and they gave the players entire liberty to choose whoever they wanted. I don't know, man, it doesn't feel like Alisa is the main, the canon waifu of, the canon love interest for Rin, from the third game and onwards. There were barely any indications whatsoever, or any real chemistry between them. It's like they wrote the story so players could have the freedom to choose their preferred girl, right? But in the first game, yeah, it totally feels like Alisa was the canon girlfriend, right? And fact, Alisa was going to be the main character at first, and then Rin came about. So I'm gonna say, wanna know more? Watch my 10 things you didn't know about the Trails of Cold Steel games 1 and 2 on my YouTube channel. Are you a fan of the Tenchu games on the PS1? Not really. I have the same argument as with the Metal Gear. I know they are developed by Acquire, same developers as Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, but not really a fan. There's one on the Vita. Or am I confusing it with another game? I may be confusing this one with a game called Shinobi or Shinobito on the Vita. But I played one on the Vita, Tenchu, I think. It was fun, but it didn't hook me up. I lost interest. It's Shinobito, right? Yeah. Okay. So not really. I remember playing a game called Secret of Evermore. Not a fan of that game. I think Lloyd and Ellie are canon. Oh yeah, that on the other hand, you know, that's a relationship that's, I mean, it's so fucking canon throughout the entirety of all the games they appear together. Yeah, Lloyd and Ellie are canon 100%. Sure, you can pick another waifu if you want to, like Risha, but yeah, definitely Lloyd and Ellie were written to be canon. And I think that's what I was saying, like Alisa felt like she was written to be canon on the first game, but the rest of the series, I mean, it's like Rin lost interest, or they left it, the relationship became more vague and vague as the games progressed. Not really familiarized that much with Hideo Kojima and his controversies or whatnot, you know. Since I'm not a fan of the guy, really can't talk much about him. Damn. Throat's dying. After, Jan says, after Cold Steel 2, Alisa was more of his ex or something. Yeah, kind of felt like that. Like they had something and it didn't work out. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't like the chemistry between Alisa and Rin. I watched some scenes, I kind of bonded with her in the games just to see, you know, but it just didn't, I never felt like, I don't know, I think the developers fucked up, the writers fucked up, and they were like, they have no chemistry together, so let's just separate them and give the player the freedom of choice, right? Because Rin has a crap ton of chemistry with Laura. That's what makes her canon in my eyes, right? I mean, there's no chemistry with Alisa. She's just awkward and, I don't know, she ends up being a rich girl, a millionaire. Don't really see that relationship working, to be honest. I mean, you can make it work as a player, right? But near the end of you play Reverie, and at the end you're like, I just don't see, not even forget about Reverie. Play Cold Steel 4, and at the end you're like, Alisa, she's just this big enterprise company owner and hair, and I mean, with a guy like, I just don't see them together, man. Rin and Alisa. Anyway. Recently I downloaded on my Steam Deck emulator for PS2, and I started watching my tier list of PS2. I already downloaded Radiata Stories, and I love it, and Valkyrie Profile 2. Great games, phenomenal games. I hope you give Valkyrie 2 the patience it deserves, because it does. I thought Rin had good chemistry with Emma as well. I agree. Yeah, she was always my second choice in the first games. Yeah, Sarah too, but Sarah and Rin, they do have a lot of chemistry, but not as much as Emma or Laura. So, and Sarah always felt awkward. Like, she's the really super hot, sexy character who can't get a guy because she's a drunk. I don't know. I still think she's a woman to fight for. Because she's awesome. I mean, she may be a drunk and she dresses up real slutty like, but I mean, she's a really good person. And her I like Sarah a lot. She's one of my favorite characters in the Trails universe. But yeah, Rin definitely had a shit ton of chemistry with Emma as well. A lot. Yeah, those moments. I remember there's a moment where he's sleeping and he sleeps on her lap, and I don't know, man. Yeah, definitely a lot of chemistry. He also has a lot of chemistry with Fie, but that relationship feels more like older brother, younger sister to me. Obviously, same with other characters like Altina or Elise, who is the canon sister. But yeah, Fie and Rin together, I just don't see it, man. Definitely Emma and Laura. I love that song. What Western RPG game mechanics do you think JRPGs should adopt? Probably storytelling, man. The dark, adult, and mature elements of the storytelling in Western RPGs, definitely JRPGs should adopt some of those. We need more JRPGs with characters like that, you know, with emotional and adult situations like that, but not so much. Like, to me, Final Fantasy XVI felt like a completely Witcher 3 ripoff. That's just my opinion, though. You may disagree. But we also need JRPGs to be, because of that, you know, because of what I just said, I think they need to adopt those elements, but try to be original, to create their own stories, right? To kind of like be on the like, okay, we need adult characters and adult stories, but in our own way, not in the Dragon Age way or the Witcher way or the Mass Effect way. You know, they need to come up with something of their own, original. But yeah, that's what I will carry over from Western RPGs. I think a good mechanic. But when it comes to gameplay mechanics, nothing. I'm sorry, man, but it's just most Western RPGs have the exact same gameplay mechanics. The Witcher 3 is no exception. And I wouldn't want I just don't want that. Again, Final Fantasy 16 did it in terms of gameplay mechanics, and it felt boring. So definitely not. No gameplay mechanics. No JRPG should adopt any Western RPG gameplay mechanics. That's just my opinion. But take that from a guy who's a big JRPG nerd. Okay, I love JRPGs, and one of the biggest reasons why I love JRPGs so much is because of their gameplay mechanics. It's because their gameplay mechanics are unique and original, unlike Western RPGs. I'm not saying they aren't original gameplay mechanics in Western RPGs, there are, but most of them are like the same, and I don't like that. Okay, in terms of gameplay, I prefer far more Japanese RPGs than Western RPGs. But in terms of storytelling, I have mixed feelings. You know, I love storytelling in Japanese RPGs, but I also believe that Western RPGs have some killer stories. The Witcher 3 is a perfect example, and that's where I think more Japanese role-playing games should adopt. Like, they should have more adult characters. Like, we're tired of the 16-year-old girls and guys with their awkward romances, you know, in childhood friendship, growing up and leaving the peaceful village to fight for the world with the power of friendship and defeat an evil god. It's just been overdone, man. We were tired of that, you know. We need more characters like Yuri from Tales of Vesperia, came from Lost Odyssey, Daddy Nier, or more complex characters like the androids from Nier Automata, you know, storytelling like that, for Drakengard, for example. Or if we're gonna go through the 17 or 16-year-old characters, at least make it something like Xenogears, for example. Well, I think Faye is a little bit older, but most of the cast in Xenogears is on the 18, 19-year-old range, right? Or at least like Final Fantasy VII. I know Final Fantasy VII is overrated and whatever, you know, but, you know, Cloud was a soldier, and he's the main character. He's no high school protagonist. You see what I mean? I think we need more like that, more maturity in storytelling in JRPGs. But gameplay mechanics, no way. No way, Jose. All right? So that's it, everybody. That was a great question to end the Q&A. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be live next Sunday. If I am, good for me and good for you. But if I'm not, don't be surprised. Okay, I don't know yet. So with that said, thanks a bunch for watching. Thank you for your questions. Thanks to everybody who donated. And special thanks once again to Retroidvaniac for the gift. The Chrono Cross release on Switch. Thanks a bunch, man. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.